There comes a moment in life when everything feels like it's against you. The doors close, the opportunities vanish. The weight of financial struggles, personal disappointments, and unanswered prayers starts to make you question whether you're even on the right path. And maybe, deep inside, you've begun to wonder if God has forgotten you. But what if I told you that what looks like a setback is actually preparation? What if every trial, every delay, and every unanswered prayer were pieces of a divine puzzle, positioning you for something greater than you could ever imagine? Think about this. Before Joseph became the ruler of Egypt, he was betrayed, sold as a slave, and thrown into prison. Before David sat on the throne, he was hunted, living in caves, struggling to survive. Before Jesus stepped into his glory, he had to endure the cross. God does not waste pain. He does not overlook effort. He does not abandon his promises. And if you are in a season where nothing seems to make sense, I want you to understand, he is preparing you. Maybe you've been struggling financially, trying to climb out of debt, or wondering why prosperity seems so far away. Maybe you've been looking at others who seem to be walking in luxury, who seem to have an abundance of wealth, while you're fighting just to get by. But let me tell you something. True riches are not just about money. True wealth begins in the heart, in the mind, and in faith. And when you understand what God is doing, everything changes. By the end of this video, you will see your challenges in a completely different light. You will know that you are on the verge of something extraordinary. But first, I need you to commit to this journey. If you're ready to unlock what God has for you, if you're ready to step into the transformation He is orchestrating in your life, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now, because what you're about to discover could change the course of your future. Every challenge is training for your destiny. There is a reason why you are facing what you are facing. Nothing in your life is random. Nothing is wasted. God is intentional in everything He does. And every challenge you encounter is designed to prepare you for what is coming next. Think about a man who wants to build muscle. He doesn't get stronger by lifting light weights that offer no resistance. He grows by pushing against something that challenges him. The same principle applies to your life. The resistance, the struggles, the setbacks, they are all developing something in you that will be necessary for the next level of your destiny. Look at Joseph. His life was a series of trials, sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison, forgotten by those he helped. And yet, with every challenge, something inside of him was being shaped. His endurance was increasing. His wisdom was growing. His character was being refined. What seemed like a series of unfortunate events was in reality a divine process. Because when the moment came for him to step into his destiny, as second in command over all of Egypt, he was ready. Many people desire riches, wealth, and luxury, but they fail to understand that true abundance is built on a foundation of discipline and trust in God. If you cannot handle the little, how will you handle the much? If you cannot be trusted to manage a small amount of money with wisdom, how will you manage millions? God will never give you more than you are prepared to handle. That is why He trains you through challenges. The problem is, most people resist the training. They complain about the process. They want the reward without the refinement. But understand this: every great person in the Bible went through a season of struggle before stepping into their calling. Moses, David, Esther, Paul, even Jesus himself, all had to endure before they could reign. Now look at your own life. The struggles you are facing, whether in your finances, relationships, or personal growth, are not meant to break you. They are meant to make you. But the key is in how you respond. Do you allow the challenge to make you bitter, or do you allow it to make you better? Because here's the truth: every great blessing comes with a process, and those who endure the process are the ones who see the promise fulfilled. Now, I want you to reflect on this. Think about a time in your life when you faced something difficult, but in the end, it made you stronger. What did you learn from it? Share your answer in the comments below. I want to hear your story, and I'll be reading and giving a heart to every comment. God is working behind the scenes of your life. It's easy to trust God when everything is going well, when the money is flowing, when doors are opening, when life feels comfortable. But what about when everything seems to be falling apart? When your prayers seem unanswered? When your efforts don't seem to be producing results? That is where most people begin to doubt. But here's what you need to understand. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God isn't working. Some of the greatest miracles happen in the unseen realm before they manifest in your life. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. For weeks, maybe even months, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, roots are growing, strengthening, preparing to sustain the life that will soon emerge. If someone were impatient, they might assume the seed is dead and dig it up too soon, never allowing it to become the tree it was meant to be. That is exactly what happens in our lives. Too many people walk away from their breakthrough because they don't see immediate results. They assume God isn't working simply because they can't perceive it with their natural eyes. But faith is not about what you can see. It's about what you know to be true, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Think about the story of Job, a man who was faithful, wealthy, and deeply devoted to God. And yet he lost everything: his riches, his family, his health. He had every reason to believe God had abandoned him. But what Job couldn't see was that God was in control the entire time. Even in his suffering, even in his loss, God was working behind the scenes, setting up a restoration greater than Job could have imagined. And when his season of testing was over, Job was blessed with twice as much as he had before. But what would have happened if Job had given up? What if he had assumed that God had forgotten him? He would have forfeited the double portion that was waiting for him. Right now, you might be facing a situation that feels impossible. Maybe your finances are tight. Maybe you're wondering why others seem to be prospering while you're struggling to make ends meet. Maybe you're questioning why God is allowing certain things to happen. But what if I told you that this season is preparing you for something greater? That God is not just watching, He is orchestrating. Just because you don't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Sometimes God closes doors to protect you. Sometimes He delays things because He knows the right timing. And sometimes He allows challenges because they refine you for the blessing He is about to release. So the question is, will you trust Him even when you don't understand? Will you keep believing even when you don't see results? Because those who endure in faith are the ones who see His promises fulfilled. And this is where many people miss their breakthrough. They give up too soon. They walk away just when they were about to step into something extraordinary. But that won't be you. You are going to stand firm. You are going to keep moving forward, knowing that God is working behind the scenes for your good. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next is going to change the way you see your journey forever. The power of persistence in life and finances. There is a reason why some people walk in abundance while others struggle their entire lives. It's not always about luck, background, or talent. It's about persistence. Those who refuse to quit, who push forward no matter the obstacles, are the ones who reach their destiny. And this principle applies to every area of life, including your finances. Look at the stories of great men in the Bible. None of them received their blessings without a fight. Abraham had to wait years for the promise of a son. David had to run from Saul before he could sit on the throne. Even Jesus himself endured suffering before stepping into glory. If greatness were easy, everyone would walk in it. But here's the truth: God rewards persistence. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." This means that true riches, whether spiritual, financial, or personal, are built over time, not overnight. Wealth and luxury are not the result of a single moment of success, but of consistent, disciplined effort. Think about it. If a man plants a seed today and expects a full-grown tree tomorrow, he will be disappointed. But if he waters it daily, nurtures it, and waits patiently, in time, it will produce fruit. The same principle applies to money. Some people expect instant financial breakthroughs, but they refuse to manage the little they already have. They pray for abundance, but spend recklessly. They desire luxury, but lack discipline. The Bible warns us about this mindset. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." In other words, those who plan, work, and persist will see increase, while those who seek shortcuts will always be lacking. Look at the story of the widow in 2 Kings 4. She was drowning in debt, about to lose everything. She cried out to the prophet Elisha, and he didn't just hand her money, he gave her an instruction. "What do you have in your house?" She replied that she had nothing except a small jar of oil, but that was all she needed. By following the prophet's guidance, she multiplied what little she had, filled many jars, and paid off her debts. This is how God works. He often starts with what you already have, but he expects you to move in faith. He doesn't bless idleness, he blesses action. And if you are persistent in your work, in your financial discipline, in your faith, you will see increase. But most people give up too soon. They start a business, but abandon it when profits don't come immediately. They save money for a while, but spend it impulsively when tempted by something new. They begin trusting God for financial breakthrough, but grow impatient when things don't change overnight. And that's where the enemy wins, because he knows that if he can get you to quit before your blessing comes, he can keep you from stepping into the riches God has prepared for you. So the question is, will you persist? Will you continue moving forward even when the results are not immediate? Will you remain faithful in the little so that God can trust you with more? If this message is speaking to you, if you are determined to break free from financial struggle and step into the wealth God has for you, then hit the like button now. Let's show the world that we are a generation that refuses to give up, that chooses faith over fear, and that understands persistence is the key to abundance. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share next will challenge everything you thought you knew about struggle and success. The storm always comes before the victory. Every great story has a moment of struggle before the breakthrough. Every champion has faced a moment where quitting seemed like the only option, and every blessing in the Bible was preceded by a storm. The truth is, before you step into the life God has prepared for you, whether in finances, success, or spiritual growth, you will face resistance. The enemy doesn't fight people who aren't a threat. If you're going through challenges right now, it's because you are on the verge of something significant. Look at the life of David. Before he became king, he had to fight Goliath. Before he sat on the throne, he had to run for his life. He could have given up. He could have said, "This is too much. Maybe I was never meant to be king." But he held on to the promise of God, even when everything in his life told him otherwise. Now think about your own life. Maybe you've been working hard, but haven't seen the results yet. Maybe you've been praying for financial breakthrough, but instead of money flowing in, bills keep piling up. Maybe you've been faithful, but success feels like it's always just out of reach. This is where most people fail. They mistake the storm for the end of their journey, when in reality the storm is the final test before the blessing. Remember when the disciples were in the boat with Jesus? A storm hit them suddenly and they panicked. They thought they were going to die. But Jesus stood up, rebuked the storm, and peace came instantly. What's important about that moment is where they were headed, because on the other side of that storm was a miracle. And that's exactly where you are. You are in the storm right now, but if you don't give up, you are about to step into the greatest victory of your life. The enemy wants you to think that your current struggles are proof that God isn't with you. But what if they are actually proof that you're closer than ever to your breakthrough? What if this financial challenge, this delay, this moment of uncertainty is just a test to see if you'll trust God even when the waves are crashing? There is a reason why gold is refined in fire. There is a reason why diamonds are formed under extreme pressure. There is a reason why God allows you to go through seasons of struggle before He releases you into abundance. Because the process prepares you for the promise. Many people ask God for riches, for financial stability, for luxury, but they don't realize that with great blessing comes great responsibility. If God gave you everything you're asking for today, would you be ready to manage it? Would you have the wisdom to handle the wealth, or would it destroy you? God knows what He is doing. He doesn't withhold blessings. He prepares you to receive them. And if you are in a storm right now, understand this: the enemy only attacks what he fears. The fact that you're facing this struggle means you are dangerously close to something great. Now, the choice is yours. Will you give up and walk away, or will you stand firm, knowing that this storm is just a sign that victory is near? Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal why your blessing is not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. You must share your blessing. Many people pray for success. They ask God for financial breakthrough, for riches, for luxury. But here's the question most people never ask themselves: why should God bless you? If your only reason for wanting wealth is personal comfort, you are missing the bigger picture. Because when God blesses someone, He does it with a purpose. Your blessing is never just for you. It is meant to impact others. Look at Abraham. God promised him that He would make him into a great nation, but the promise didn't stop there. In Genesis 12:2, God said, "I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing." Did you catch that? So that you will be a blessing. God didn't just want Abraham to be rich. He wanted Abraham to be a channel through which His blessings flowed to the world. Now ask yourself, if God were to pour out abundance into your life today, what would you do with it? Would you hoard it, or would you use it to lift others up? One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that money itself is evil. But the Bible never says that. 1 Timothy 6:10 tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself. Money is a tool, and in the hands of the right person, it can do incredible things. It can build businesses that provide jobs, fund ministries that spread the gospel, support families in need. The problem isn't wealth. The problem is the heart of the person holding it. That's why God often tests people with small things before trusting them with greater things. If you can't be generous when you have little, why would He give you more? If you ignore those in need when you have just enough, why would He make you overflow? The story of the rich young ruler in Mark 10 is a perfect example. He had wealth, but he loved his riches more than he loved God. Jesus told him to sell everything and follow Him, not because having money was wrong, but because his heart was enslaved to it. He couldn't let go, and because of that, he missed out on something greater. Now, think about the widow in 1 Kings 17. She had almost nothing, just a handful of flour and a little oil. Yet, when the prophet Elijah asked her for food, she gave. And because of her generosity, God multiplied what she had. She never ran out. She was sustained throughout the famine. This is the principle of the kingdom. When you hold on to something too tightly, you lose it. But when you give freely, God multiplies it. Right now, you may be praying for increase, for financial freedom, for success. But ask yourself, am I ready to be a blessing? Because if your heart is in the right place, God will not withhold anything from you. He is looking for people He can trust with riches, not just for personal gain, but to advance His kingdom. The world is full of people who are struggling. people who need jobs, education, hope, and God is raising up a generation of believers who will walk in abundance, not just to live in comfort, but to transform the lives of those around them. That includes you. Your blessing is coming, but when it does, remember, it's not just for you. If this message has impacted you, I want you to do something powerful right now. Share it with someone. Someone in your life needs to hear this today. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe they're losing faith. Be the person who reminds them that God is still in control. And now, stay with me, because what I'm about to share in the final chapter will challenge you to take action in ways you never have before. Your time is now. Will you step into it? You've made it this far, and that means something. It means you are not like the majority of people who hear wisdom, but do nothing with it. You are someone who is searching for truth, for purpose, for the path that God has laid out for you. And now, you have a decision to make. You've learned that every challenge is training for your destiny. You now understand that God is working behind the scenes, that persistence is the key to breakthrough, that the storm is always a sign that victory is near, and that your blessing is meant to be shared. But knowledge alone is not enough. The question is, what will you do with this? Will you continue living as you were before, or will you take action? Think about where you are right now. Maybe you've been struggling financially, wondering why wealth and luxury seem so far away. Maybe you've been feeling stuck, as if your prayers are not being answered. Maybe you've been losing faith in the promises God has for you. But now you see the bigger picture. You now know that God has been preparing you all along, that the delays, the setbacks, the obstacles, they were never meant to stop you. They were meant to refine you, to position you, to strengthen you for what's coming next. So here's my challenge to you. Are you willing to trust God's process? Are you willing to persist even when you don't see the results yet? Are you ready to step into the abundance, the purpose, and the calling that He has prepared for you? Because make no mistake, God is ready to bless you, but He will not do for you what you refuse to do for yourself. If you take a step of faith, He will meet you there. If you commit to managing what He has already given you wisely, He will increase it. If you walk in obedience, He will open doors no man can shut. Now, here's what I want you to do. First, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. If this message has spoken to you, then this is just the beginning. There is more wisdom, more revelation, more guidance that will help you continue this journey, and I don't want you to miss any of it. Second, if you found this valuable, hit the like button so that more people can hear this message. This isn't just for you. Someone else needs to hear this today. And finally, don't go anywhere just yet. The video on your screen right now will take you even deeper into this topic. It's the next step, and you don't want to miss it. Click on it now, and I'll see you there.